Just streaming. What's going on, guys? Cody Marchant from HideandSeek.com, and right now we are live on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's because that's how you watch me. I get it. You don't like to see me live. I wouldn't either. Just kidding. Come follow me over there. But this video right now, we're going to talk about the favorite value and just best plays in general at the wide receiver position on Draftkings for Week 3. There's a lot of great plays this week. A lot of people are in this DFS community. They're kind of going back and forth on the plays this week. There's some good value, but there's not a lot of great value, right? There's some spots, but it's like the pricing just doesn't let you get to where you want to be at every spot, where it's either you got to go maybe an Eagles wide receiver cheap, which we'll get into a little bit later. But realistically, like, the best plays on the slate aren't cheap. Like, the best play for me, wide receivers, Keenan Allen, 7,000. Best play at tight end for me is Travis Kelce. The best plays at running back are Zeke, Saquon, and obviously I don't want to go super cheap, but I just want to prove a point. So let's call it, my guy, Dalvin Cook. Quarterback, the best play is Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. We'll just go Lamar. Defense, the best play are the Cowboys and Patriots. And we have negative 700 salary left for our two wide receiver positions. Obviously, you can't build a lineup with these guys. That's not how DFS works. But, you know what I mean? You have to pick and choose where you want to spend your money this week. So let's just go in. I'm going to try to help you guys out a little bit to see if there's any really good value plays at wide receiver, if we should spend up more at this position. Maybe other people are going to be spending up at running backs. Two places for you guys to see besides these videos, my thought process is on HideandSeek.com. Both of these links are in the description below. The first one is going to be the value picks article where I go over, my favorite plays at their price point. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. I'm going to tell you, how much they cost, their opponent, and my week 3 projection on them. Obviously, Keenan Allen's at the top. I got DJ Moore, Mecole Hardman, Christian Kirk, Deebo Samuel. That's my value article. And then over here, you just see weekly rankings. This is DFS. And I'm on the wide receiver tab. I break it down by, color coding it. Great, good, okay, bad, and awful. At the top is the players that are in my player pool at wide receiver. It's going to be my deepest position. Anything purple or blue are in my main lineup player pools. Purple, obviously, is more ideal. Ideally, I'd like to be able to fit Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, and Christian Kirk in my lineups. That might not be a case of where we get to. And to be honest, I did make these on Monday. I didn't know what kind of injuries Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey were looking at. Right now, it does look like they're going to be out. So Nelson Aguilar and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside are not going to be part of this. But that's why we make this video, because they're going to be over here. So it's not one of those things where I'm telling you got to follow me everywhere. But to know my entire thought process, I keep saying that word weird. Thought process, you do kind of have to follow me everywhere because I write articles about it, I make videos on it, and I put the content all on my site. Another helpful thing that I have on Hide and Seek that I want to show you guys, just real quick, it'll just show you the matchups for the week. Titans, Jags, Bengals, Bills. It'll tell you who's playing where, who's at home. Just quickly, I have a lot of stuff on the site. If you guys haven't checked that out before and you just watched me on YouTube, go ahead and check it out. But getting into these wide receivers, at the top, we got the studs, but I'm not going to look at any of the studs. The first stud I'm going to look at is Julio at 7,300. DraftKings looks like they're kind of getting data on what the top players on DFS have been doing the last few years, and that's really getting more running backs in at their price point, and just it's been the better play for me. That's what I think. I've always been trying to get higher value running backs and, kind of spend a little bit less money on my wide receivers, just in general. Obviously, that's not GPP overall, that's not the number one strategy. That's kind of just on average. If it's a cash game, I'm going to be spending more money at running backs. I'm going to be spending less money at wide receivers. And it looks like DraftKings is catching up, because if it's just top of their positions, Julio versus, say, CMC, they're probably both in that top 3 range, right? They're probably not the number one. Oh, we'll just do number one and number one. Number one wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins at 7,800. Number 1 running back, Saquon at 9,100. Number 5 wide receiver, Julio at 7,300. Number 5 running back at 7,800. It is a little bit more steep of a drop-off in running backs, but just overall, it looks like Draftkings does want to make the wide receivers cheaper at the top and make the running backs more expensive at the top. It's just one thing I've noticed. Adjust accordingly. But the first one I do want to look at is Julio at 7,300. It is a very, very good price, very strong value there. He's just a beast, always in that double-digit target range. He always has the opportunity for a multi-catch game where it has 100-plus yards and a touchdown. He's had 3 touchdowns so far this season. That's pretty much Julio's total in a lot of years. So it looks like he's getting more involved, not only in the red zone, because a lot of these touchdowns recently, last week he had obviously the 54-yard touchdown, but he did have, I think it was a 3-yard touchdown. That's a red zone look right there. So Julio at 7,300. They are playing against the Indianapolis Colts, who primarily run a zone defense on the secondary. And that is one thing that we really do want to attack with Julio. Julio historically has crushed zone defenses. One thing I do want to tell you guys a little something about is a new tool that we're going to be bringing to the Hide and Seek site. It's not even a tool. It's just an article on every single team in the NFL breaking down what they play on defense, what they play on offense, like how much percentage they're in, 11 personnel, how many of the times they run on first down, for every single team. So we're going to tell you what they run on defense, and which teams they will do good against, what teams they'll do bad against. So you can look at the Falcons, right? It'll tell you their formations. It'll tell you where Julio lines up. They'll give you 3 or 4 teams that they play well against, or they match up well against given their scheme and personnel. And one of them would be the Indianapolis Colts, because they run a zone defense, and Julio historically kills zone defenses. So something I just want to get out in the open. My number 1 play on the slate easily at the wide receiver position is Keenan Allen. I'd be very surprised if he's not the thumbnail of this video. I might not have found a good picture, so he might not be, but that would be the only reason, because he is definitely my favorite play at the wide receiver position this week. For some reason, only a 7K, 25 targets through 2 games, has like a 36 or 37% market share of the targets in the LA passing game. He is just Phillip Rivers' favorite weapon. He is one of the best when it comes to releasing off the line of scrimmage. He's tough to cover, one of the best route runners in the league, and I think that him getting the targets that he's getting, not only in general, but even in the end zone, is just super valuable. I think this matchup against Houston could see, Phillip Rivers throwing the ball a little bit more, and I think that's a good thing for Keenan Allen. If he had anything less than 11 targets, I would be very surprised. And 11 targets for 7K, sign me up. Chris Godwin, a lot of people are going to be off just because he's at 6,900, and for 100 more, there is Keenan Allen. And I'm sure I'm not going to be the only person on Keenan Allen this week. So Chris Godwin at 6,900, it's going to be tough to have a lot of interest in him, but I think that he has a great matchup. He's been killing it this year. If you watched my quarterback video for this week, you know that I think that Jameis Winston is actually a pretty good play in this matchup. The Giants defense just has nothing that can stay with Chris Godwin. I think that Janoris Jenkins is a pretty solid player. I think that Mike Evans has a monster bounce-back game, but I think that this passing game really rights the ship. I think Daniel Jones ignites that Giants offense a little bit, which makes this more of a fast-paced, up-scoring game. It would kind of suck if, Daniel Jones comes in and slows things down a lot. It's a slower-paced game. That would hurt Chris Godwin, and that's one thing I'm not worried about with Keenan Allen, so another reason why I would go Allen over Godwin. But Godwin has been getting great looks, 6 to 9 targets, touchdown each game, and he just looks really good. He looks really in sync with Jameis Winston. He had like another 40-yard catch last week, barely called back. That said he was out of bounds, but it looked pretty close, so he could have had an even bigger day. But at 6,900, a lot of people aren't going to be on Godwin, so I like that for a GPP play. I like even more than Godwin for a GPP play his running mate in Mike Evans at 6,600. Playing, like I said, going to get the top-tier matchup in Janoris Jenkins, but the thing is, Mike Evans still leads this team in air yards. He's been fighting a sickness since the beginning of the season. I think that this is one of those matchups, just get back, get right, and Mike Evans really shows you who the number 1 is in Tampa Bay. What else do we have? What did I skip? I went from Keenan Allen to Chris Godwin. Okay, Juju has Mason Rudolph for 6,900. It's a solid play. Probably not going to get there in cash. Sammy Watkins, I think a lot of people are going to be off of him because of what happened last week he had a bad game when everybody was on him. Real quick, I don't like to go on my phone midstream, but I had to screenshot this picture because I'm a huge Sammy Watkins fan. And let me just pull up this tweet from Graham Barfield. Sorry that I just hit the mic. Let me know if that just sounds really weird. All right, never mind. Basically, the tweet, I'm going to read it to you, says, one thing to note about Sammy Watkins, disappointing week 2, 6 catches for 49 yards. Per PFF, just 6 of Watkins' 13 targets were deemed catchable. Mahomes had a pass batted down and a few overthrows, throwaways when targeting Watkins versus Oakland. So, yeah, you see the 13 targets. Oh, wow, it's still Sammy Watkins. He was inefficient. The thing is, he was double-teamed all game. A lot of them were, not great passes when it was, like I said, only 6 of them were deemed catchable passes. He had 6 catches. He caught what was thrown to him. He's being double-teamed. I don't think that the Baltimore Ravens can do that. He will see top corner Marlon Humphrey for sure. But with the emergence of Demarcus Robinson and Mecole Hardman as legitimate threats, which I don't think Oakland perceived that way, I don't see Watkins getting double-teamed. This offense is just too vertical, too explosive to spend two players playing back bracket coverage on Sammy Watkins. That just opens things up too much for Travis Kelce in the middle as well. So at 6,800, I think this is one of those games where it's kind of like a post-hype sleeper where everyone was on him last week at 7,200. Now no one's going to be on him at 6,800, and he's going to be in a smash spot. Adam Thielen, I'm not going anywhere near that matchup. Kenny Golladay, I feel like if you are going to attack the Philadelphia Eagles, you want to attack their corners. Kenny Golladay is the best receiver on this team, and he's shown why. 8 catches on 10 targets in the most recent game for 117 yards and another touchdown. Matt Stafford looks good. I like this matchup a lot. I do like attacking them. Let's see, what else do we got? We got Tyler Boyd, the ever-efficient. I don't love the matchup against Buffalo. T.Y. Hilton's a stud. I feel like people are too far off him for no reason. I understand he didn't have a great game, but that's 3 touchdowns in 2 games. It's kind of like, Julio. They're not known for being end zone receivers, but 3 touchdowns in 2 games. Stephon Diggs at 6K. It just hurts to see a player so talented as Stephon Diggs being down at 6K in a matchup at home against Oakland. It's just what this offense has turned into in Minnesota. That's why I'm so high on Dalvin Cook until we see something change. Hollywood Brown, guys. Okay, this is really where I want to spend some time. Hollywood Brown week 1. Okay, first of all, I love Hollywood Brown. One of my favorite receivers. If you go back to any of my tweets, if you go back to my article on Hide and Zeke about the incoming rookies, he graded out as my #1 prospect at the wide receiver position. Him and N'Keal Harry both got the highest grades that were tied at the top. So huge fan of Hollywood Brown. I did want to caution people week 1 after he had that blow-up game to be a little bit cautious and not overly optimistic. The problem was he was only on the field for 12 plays in week 1, and he wasn't like a huge target monster. But the thing is, in week 2, a lot of that changed. He played 65% of the offensive plays. He had 13 targets. And I watched that game back yesterday on NFL Game Pass, and he was being targeted on screens. He was being targeted on first down. He was being targeted on 4th and 3. He was being targeted 50 yards downfield, 30 yards downfield. Hollywood Brown, if he stays healthy, will be a top 10 wide receiver this year if Lamar Jackson can continue to put it together, because they want to get this kid the ball. He is such an explosive weapon. With Lamar Jackson, it's just going to be hard to cover him. I just think that it doesn't matter. Like I said in my running back or quarterback video, I don't care who you get between Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, and Lamar Jackson. Just do not leave this game on the table and completely avoid it. Yeah, it could blow up. They could all have bad games, but I just don't see it. It's going to be tough to not have at least one of those 3 in your lineup. If Hollywood Brown's your favorite at 5,900, go get him. If you want to pay up for Lamar Jackson at 7K, go get him. If Mark Andrews is your play at tight end, then go get him. But just make sure you have some exposure to this game. He played 51 of 79 snaps. Brown played the most snaps of any wide receiver, out of any running back, wide receiver, or tight end for Baltimore, and led the team in targets, and tied Mark Andrews with 8 catches. So he's just been an absolute monster. Yes, it's kind of nice that we saw only 16.6 points from him last week. Hopefully that'll bring down his ownership a little bit, which I don't think it will, but he's just a monster. My other guy I really like at 5,900. Wow, this video has already been going for 15 minutes, but there's a lot of receivers I like this week, and I think there's a lot of value in this video. So if you're still here, I appreciate it. do me a favor and like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm being serious. Can you just go ahead and like that video? Can you just go like that video, please? But anyways, DJ Moore, love at 5,900. It is Wednesday right now at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So the one thing that kind of does suck is we did recently get news that Cam Newton looks pretty likely to miss this game on Sunday, which sucks because DJ Moore is just such a good spot. Arizona is such a high-paced spot where the opposing team has to play more offensive plays, more passes. DJ Moore is going to eat that up. They have no Patrick Peterson. They have nothing to stop DJ Moore. And it was like my favorite snatch spot of the entire week when I found this on Monday. Let me check the video of what I said about DJ Moore specifically. Yeah, he was like my number one play with Keenan Allen, so it kind of hurts, but I don't know if I'm off him yet, but pretty much if it's Kyle Allen at quarterback, I can't see myself going DJ Moore over Hollywood Brown at the same price, which does suck, but it is something to keep in mind. Where else were we looking? Look at how many people are injured already. John Brown, I'm still a huge fan of John Brown. I still played him. I think I played him in both weeks. I don't know if I got to him last week. I know I had him in week 1, and I might have got to him last week in my final cash game. If you can, if you watch the recap video, just leave a comment down below to say, Cody, yeah, you did play him or you didn't play him. I do like him at 5,500 if I didn't say so already. Calvin Ridley and Demarcus Robinson. Calvin Ridley's getting some looks, guys. 16 targets through 2 weeks, 105 yards and touchdown last week. Last week. 2 touchdowns through 2 games. He's going to be one of Matt Ryan's favorite players to throw to. The offense cannot seem to run the ball right now. I do see Matt Ryan just continuing to drop back and find his guys. Calvin Ridley is one of those guys. Demarcus Robinson at 5,200. 6 catches on 6 targets for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's not going to happen every week. He's not where I'm looking, but you can see the upside in Demarcus Robinson. It's really just a pick your poison type play. I'm not going to be the Demarcus Robinson type. I'm either Sammy Watkins or Mecole Hardman. It's just personal preference, to be honest. I liked everything I saw out of Mecole Hardman. Plus, only having 4 for 61 and 1, I think will keep his ownership a little bit less than what Demarcus Robinson's will be. And he had a 72-yard touchdown called back on a very iffy holding call. And I think that if that stood, his ownership would be way different. His price would be way different. So I kind of want to attack that 5K with Mecole Hardman. But it depends. If Sammy Watkins fits, he fits. So I do prefer Sammy Watkins overall in a vacuum, but Mecole Hardman at 5K is pretty tough to get around for value. John Ross, your wide receiver 1 through 2 weeks. 20 targets in 2 weeks, averaging like 135 yards a game, averaging a touchdown. It's up here. That's way easier. Averaging a 30. That's a good real quick math. But 135 yards a game, 3 touchdowns, 31 fantasy points. Tough matchup. We might see some Tre'Davious White on the outside with him. We don't know. Old man Larry's just been a baller. 24 targets through 2 weeks. I mean, Kyler Murray's throwing the ball like 47 times a game on average between the first 2 games of this season. I don't see that going way down. I think it's going to be hovering in that 40 passes a game mark. Yeah, it might go down 7 attempts, but Larry's been a beast. 13 catches, 217 yards and a touchdown. I love Larry Fitzgerald at 5,100. Marvin Jones, like we said, we want to attack those Philadelphia cornerbacks. I said corner, right? Christian Kirk at 5K is probably one of my favorite spots. He's just seen a ton of work. He looked way better in week 2. Kyler Murray is one of my favorite plays at quarterback as well, so I do like to see Christian Kirk and Kyler Murray in a lineup together. If you like Larry Fitzgerald a little bit better because he's had 4 more targets, go right ahead. That's fine with me as well. What else do we have in this range? Will Fuller, I'm not very interested in. Neither Mike Williams. Let's talk about Emmanuel Sanders at 4,800. Yes, the Green Bay Packers have a very good secondary, but that's specifically in their safety spot and their outside cornerbacks. I'm not a huge fan of their slot corner play. I think that Emmanuel Sanders, who leads the league in red zone targets through 2 weeks with 7, is just showing that he defies all logic as a 32-year-old coming off an Achilles tear, and he's just been a baller. Last week, 13 targets, 11 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. 20 points in week 1, 29 points last week against Chicago. I'm not really worried about the matchup. I'm not a huge Joe Flacco guy. The game was pretty it was kind of tailor-made to putting up a little bit of more garbage time in regards to Emmanuel Sanders and Cortland Sutton. But it is what it is. I just want to look at one thing real quick. Emmanuel Sanders' total targets is 20, 7 and 13. What about Cortland Sutton? 20 total, 7 and 13, 15 total, 8 and 7. So he only had 4 and 40 last week, but it felt like at the end of the game, he was really where Flacco's looking like. Hold on, right here. Facing do or die on 4th and 10 and 4th and 3 during Denver's final drive. Flacco looked Suns' way for back-to-back conversions. On 4th down, Manny Sanders still the go-to target on the team and possessor of both the Broncos' touchdown receptions thus far. I pressed something I wasn't supposed to press, but come on, don't completely kick me out of the lineup. Appreciate it. All right, appreciate it. But yeah, like I was saying, Cortland Sutton and Emmanuel Sanders, I like both of them this week. I like Emmanuel Sanders a little bit better because he is the slot receiver. He doesn't get, Jair Alexander on this outside, which I think Cortland Sutton, I just combined the two of them. But yes, where were we? We were at like 4,800 area right here. Now looking at a jet against New England, Curtis Samuel. I would like that a lot, but I can't go there without Cam Newton. DK is a beast. Everyone knows how much I like DK Metcalf. 6 and 7 targets through 2 weeks. He's a vertical receiver, and that's how they're using him in Seattle. A lot of flies, a lot of digs, a lot of posts, a lot of comebacks. It's kind of what DK is going to run. He's going to run a vertical route tree, but he's going to run it well. 4,700 against the Saints defense. He'll probably get a lot of Marshawn Lattimore, but he's just too big and too physical for I think that to be a huge problem. DeAndre Hopkins showed what he could do against him in week 1. What else we got? We got Cortland Sutton. I talked about Deebo Samuel at 4,500, one of my favorite plays against Pittsburgh. 7 targets last week. They're trying to get him the ball in screens. They got him on a throwback pass, I'm pretty sure. He scored a long touchdown on, I think, one of the screens. And I think that Jimmy G's finally bring it all together. It's a good matchup against Pittsburgh. Cole Beasley had a good game week 2. MVS is my guy. I think MVS at 4,300. Like, logically, it's not like a huge smash spot, but I think this is going to be low ownership in a game where MVS could really just explode. He could have one of those games where he just has 2 touchdowns on 7 targets, you know what I mean, and like 6 catches. So I think that MVS at 4,300 needs to be in your GPP radar. He's definitely one of my favorite GPP plays this week, just because I think Aaron Rodgers has a big game this week too. Willie Snead, Devontae Parker, Deshaun, Moncrief, Sanu, Stills, Ginn, Paris Campbell, Danny Amy, Preston, Renfro. Oh, let's start talking about the Eagles wide receivers. That's how I'll end off this video. Because we're already 23 minutes in. We're going to start talking about the Eagles. 2 guys we're going to talk about are Nelson Aguilar, 3,600. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, 3,500. Nelson Aguilar looked like the guy that got the most work once Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson went out in week 2. 11 targets, 8 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown, and he dropped a long pass. This is definitely where most of the ownership is going to be this week, guys. Everyone's going to see 3,600. They're going to see, okay, now I can get up to Zeke, I can get up to Saquon, I can get up to CMC. Give me Aguilar, and that's fine. It might be the right play too as well, but one player that people are going to maybe overlook because he didn't do anything last week, but I care about this. He played 75 snaps in the loss. And the thing is, he's just too talented, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is, to get all those snaps and not make plays for too long. And I think that J.J. is going to show that this week. He's going to be running all week with the ones. Carson Wentz is going to be throwing to him in practice. And I think that at 3,500, I'm going to go J.J. instead of Nelson Aguilar. I'm not telling you guys to do that. It's just what I see personally about J.J. and my feelings towards this spot. I think a very common spot is going to be James Washington at 3,500. I'm not a huge fan of it. Everyone just keeps talking. It's a kind of a meme at this point that, every analyst, basically, like when you watch a football game, you know that an analyst is going to say, oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick's playing. Did you know he went to Harvard? Oh, Jimmy Graham's playing. Did you know that he played basketball in college? It's kind of like James Washington. Oh, James Washington's out there. Did you know that he caught passes from Mason Rudolph in college? Yeah, I get it. We're in the NFL. Mason Rudolph can outthrow to Juju. It's like, yeah, cool. I played with this guy in college, but now I'm in the NFL playing with Juju, like one of the best players at the position. James Washington is fine, but he can barely beat out Moncrief, who can't catch a ball at like for a wide receiver starting spot. Deontay Johnson, I prefer in talent-wise at the position, so I'm not going to be at James Washington. But those, Devin Smith is another one to talk about real quick at 3,400. The burner out of Ohio State that finally came back to health. He's in Dallas now. Michael Gallup will not be playing in this game. This should be a complete torch job by the Dolphins. Devin Smith at 3,500. It is just something to think about. 3,400. I'll correct myself before you guys do it. It just looks like he's going to be the one to replace those Michael Gallup snaps. He played 18 snaps last week, so he always has that opportunity just to take on the distance. Dak's going to be playing great like he has been. Kellen Moore is going to dial up some very creative plays that might get Devin Smith a deep touchdown. That's it, guys. We're going to be done here. 25 minutes talking about wide receivers. That's crazy. I can't even wait till we get to Sunday. By the way, we go live every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. on YouTube and on Twitch, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Ask all the questions you want. We have a ton of fun. I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching this video.